What's up you guys, welcome to my channel. I am Julissa. If you're new, hello. If you're not new, welcome back. I actually started recording this video like 5 hours ago, but then my friend Mel and my friend Maya wanted to get on a Zoom call, and so we were on Zoom for like 3-4 hours. We sprinted for 30 minutes one time and that was it. So I got a little distracted. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a book tag. It is the It's Finally Fall book tag, and I was tagged by my friend Kristin over at Books and More with Kristin G. I don't usually do book tags that often. Book tag videos are great because no matter what books you read, no matter your favorite genre, everyone can watch book tags. Let's start with the first question. So the first question is, in fall, the air is crisp and clear. Name a book with a vivid setting. I definitely chose multiple books for some of these questions just because I like to share with you guys. I'm an oversharer. I've talked about this book a few times, probably too many times, but here it is again. It is A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by JLA. I don't read a lot of fantasy, but I do appreciate really great world building. I do appreciate being able to visualize and having great imagery in the book. I think this book did a really great job with that. The imagery was very vivid. I feel like I could picture exactly where I was, or where Poppy was, where everyone in the book was at when they were there. Beautiful by Renee Ahdieh. It takes place in New Orleans in the year of 1872, and I feel like the time period of this book is what makes it such a atmospheric read. I've never been to New Orleans a day in my life, but I can imagine what it's like based on this book because it definitely has this magical feel. And I think this is a great book to read in the fall. It is a paranormal romance, so it deals with like vampires and werewolves. The setting in this book I just think was the highlight of this story. I think Renee did a great job with showing you her world and what she wanted you to see in 1872 New Orleans. The next question is, nature is beautiful, but also dying. Name a book that is beautifully written, but also deals with a heavy topic like loss or grief. So once again, I have two books for this. The first one is a book that I have talked about briefly on my channel just once, way back in like April, I think, or May. It is If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nowlin. This book is not a book that's centered around grief and loss, but because that's the part that stayed with me since I read this book is why I picked it. Very briefly, it follows these two friends. They're childhood friends. They grow up together. They stop being friends in high school, and they both are kind of pining for one another throughout all 4 years of high school. Junior, senior year, they kind of reconnect, and they discuss why their friendship failed back in middle school, and they actually express their feelings for one another. And all the while, at the end of this book is a very tragic accident. Somebody passes away, but it just, the way it showed you how that happened was heartbreaking. I mean, this book was gut-wrenching for me. I don't cry with books that easily, but this book had me in literal tears. I was a mess when I finished reading it for a good 30-40 minutes after I was done. The book opens up actually with the accident scene, but it doesn't tell you who really is in the car or how it happens, or you know, who's affected when it happens. So it's a lot. Trigger warning for this book. It does deal with death, self-harm. This was one of the better YA books I've ever read. This book I read honestly had to be like 6-7 years ago. It's been a very long time. Mending Fences by Cheryl Woods. So this book deals with rape, so that's the trigger warning here. These two moms who are best friends, they are neighbors, their kids grow up together, and one of the moms, their son, actually ends up raping the daughter of the other mother. And I believe there is an age difference here between the son and the daughter. I think this book was so touching because it tackled rape, but it also tackled how do you move past, or do you move past as friends? How do you handle that dynamic? And as friends, how do you work through this? This book, I feel like, definitely traveled into the depths and the minds of two women who had to work through this within their own family, but then as friends. It was really great. The next question is, fall is back to school season. Share a nonfiction book that taught you something new. I don't have the physical copy of this book. I read it online, but a good friend of mine, he's recommended this book to me so many times, and I put off reading it for so many reasons, but I caved finally and I read it. It is called Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. I know that Tiana from Tiana T, I think that's her YouTube channel name, she read this book as well. This book follows Napoleon Hill. Now, it's not explicitly stated whether this book is fiction or non-fiction, but that's not the point of the book. But Napoleon, apparently, he goes and interviews the devil. This basically is just an interview, and it talks about how the devil uses different mediums to control the minds of people. So for example, he uses books, he uses movies, he uses music, he uses food, he uses other people, he uses institutions, he uses all types of things. Money, anything you think of, he tries to use to infiltrate the minds of people, to get them to think not for themselves. I made a comment to my friend one day. I said, yeah, this book really has made me think about what I think about. and why. And I think that this is a book that anybody can read and get something from, regardless of what you believe in this world. We all have a mind, we all think, but do we all think for ourselves? Not until now have I sat down and thought, okay, a thought comes to my head. Why did I think that thought? Am I going to give it energy? And if I am, why? If I'm not, why not? So it's a book that really kind of just makes you self-aware and mindful of your mind. And I think that anyone can read it and everyone should read it. The next question is, in order to keep warm, it's good to spend some time with people we love. Name a fictional family or household or friend group that you'd like to be a part of. I'm picking this book because it's a romance book, first of all. Second of all, I just recently read it and the friend group was perfection. It is Truth or Dare by Danielle Allen. I read this book on a whim. This book, in a nutshell, it follows this group of friends from college and throughout adulthood. They're in their 30s and 2 people from the friend group are getting married. They're having a destination wedding, and so everyone's going to, I think, Punta Cana for this wedding, and they played Truth or Dare in college, and that's what kind of solidified their friendship group. They played again at the wedding, and things get a little steamy between Kingston and Simone, and they kind of explore their feelings, or if there are feelings between the 2 of them. And it's just a really cute read, and their friend group reminded me so much of me and my friends. I'll stick a picture somewhere around here, but my friend group reminds me of them, and I feel like every character in that book was so relatable. Absolutely, I would love to be in their friend group. And the book was really black, so I love that too. The next question is, the colorful leaves are piling up on the ground. Show us a pile of fall color spines. These are the only books that I have that have fall colored spines. But this is my stack of my fall colored spines. We have Alex Approximately, the Illuminate Files, 99 Days, Now That I Found You, and Lola and the Boy Next Door. So yeah. So the next question is, fall is the perfect time for some storytelling by the fireside. Share a book wherein somebody's telling a story. I don't think I have one of those. The nights are getting darker. Share a dark, creepy read. The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchinson is freaking awful, but it is definitely a dark and creepy read. Basically, the synopsis of this book is this man kidnaps these girls between the ages of 13 and 21, and he brings them to this solitary place to pretty much keep them there until they're 21 years old, and once they turn 21, he kills them and he encases their body in resin and he tattoos their backs with a huge butterfly to create a butterfly garden. It's very dark, very weird. It's a very interesting book, I will give it that, but not one that I would read again or recommend unless you like books like that, which if you do, that's your prerogative. The days are getting colder. Name a short, heartwarming read that could warm up somebody's cold and rainy day. Okay, so this book isn't necessarily short. It is A Curse so Dark and Lonely by Bridget Kimmerer. For those who don't know, it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling. When I read this book, it was slow burn. I didn't love it, but after pondering the story for a while and how I felt when the book was over, I actually really thoroughly enjoyed it. I think this is a very cozy read to read in the fall. The book is cute. It follows this girl. She gets kidnapped by the Beast's bodyguard, and it just follows her and him and kind of their friendship and how it blossoms and how their romance blossoms. I definitely think that you should read this in the fall if you're gonna read it at all. Ooh, that rhymed. Next is Fall Returns Every Year. Name an old favorite that you'd like to return to soon. I read this book when I was like 15, I think, so it's solid 10 years, almost 10 years ago. It's Anne and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. I know people think that this book is not a good YA romance book. I don't really care, because for me, I remember reading this book and I remember feeling like love is attainable for anyone. That's how I felt when I finished reading this. It follows Anna and she goes to Paris to go to boarding school for the year, and she meets this guy and they fall in love. That's like the really short version of the story, but pretty much that's the whole premise of the book. The whole idea of being in high school, traveling abroad, going to one of the most romantic places in the world, meeting somebody who you just fall head over heels for. There's complications, of course, because they're high schoolers and it's a romance. And in the end, you end up with a guy. It is just such a sweet story. So, and then the last question is, fall is the perfect time for cozy reading nights. Share your favorite cozy reading accessories. If you insist. That would be my bed. It's currently not made. This is my, can you guys see that like blurry? This is my favorite accessory, actually, not just in the fall, but all the time. My bed and my pillows. I don't read with anything. That's it. And the last question is literally this: to spread the autumn appreciation, tag some people. So I will tag some friends and I will link all the channels below. I hope that you guys enjoy this video, and I will see y'all in my next video per usual. Goodbye.